If it's knowledge, humour, or a different perspective that you seek, look for the wisdom in the words that we speak. Words and wisdom. We'll let you decide.
Welcome back to Words and Wisdom, if you're a loyal listener. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard, guys. Our goal with this podcast is a very simple one. We want to help others out there, maybe mini Mikeys and mini Zaks, poor lads, maybe question the constraints of society's conditioning and to kind of build a healthier perspective and view on life's trials and tribulations, and maybe give you some tools and techniques to go away with and implement into your life.
A lot of teasing there. We don't claim to be experts in anything other than the field of ourselves. And with that, we've had a lot of successes, we've had a lot of mistakes, and we want to help others on that path of discovery of self.
And today, guys, the topic of conversation is overthinking.
I bet we're both we can speak passionately about this and vividly.
100%, mate. And today we've got a bit of structure today. We want to go through what our experience of what we think overthinking is, and then our experiences of it in the extreme cases. I know you've been through some bouts of psychosis, which I'm guessing is largely related to overthinking. Self-induced, mate, yeah. We want to go in the more mild cases. We also want to go over how we've managed to understand it and overcome it. And then we want to kind of explain as to why it can be used as a very effective tool, or at least I think it can be used as a very effective tool if we use it in the right way. So, Mikey, tell me about your experience, or what you think. What do you think overthinking is?
Overthinking. I believe thinking, in its essence, can be a wonderful tool to use. I encourage thinking when I go into schools, thinking for yourself and building, opinions, thoughts, passions up. But overthinking is the inability to control it. So I've heard a book, I think it's called The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Please get that book, guys, if you are an overthinker. But he believes it's a disease, thinking in itself, because we can't control it, we can't regulate it, and as soon as things come in, we build attachment towards it. So whatever it is, we're like, that must be truth, I'm going to think about this now. That must be truth, I'm going to think about this now. And his teaching to me in my really formative time, which was about 18 to 22, where I was really struggling with thoughts just uncontrollably coming in, hitting me at every direction. I really feared death for a long time. It was a big fear of mine.
Right.
I don't know if that was in full past experience or because of the substances I was taking on at that time, really crammed death down your face. And it's left me with a lot of scars. I know we've done a podcast on psychedelics back in day, but what happened with me was I lost full control of self, and anything that came into my mind flow, I would go down that path of, which did go into psychosis, did go into schizophrenia, did go into me. Like, it was simple thing. I thought like my grandma, who I love the most in the world, was trying to poison me.
Wow, do you know what's so strange, mate? Is I thought my stepdad was trying to poison me at one point through food. How weird, mate.
She was trying to poison me through the water and the food that I took in.
That's crazy, man.
There's something intertwined with consciousness, isn't there? And yes. I watched a film by accident the other day. I woke up and we just got this Sky movies on loop. But Simon Pegg in this film, and I've never seen him play serious before, but he's playing a role of a schizophrenic.
What film's this? What's this called?
I'll find it. I'll put a little snippet, not a snippet of it up, but like the title. I couldn't find the title.
Definitely.
But he portrayed that role so truthfully, so accurately to what I understood that I watched 20 minutes. I was like, I've got to watch the whole thing now. I can't
Is he an author? Is he an author, a writer in it?
A music producer. Yeah, I think it's either an author or
he doesn't dare go out the house. And yeah, I've seen that one, man.
Mate,
Fear of Everything, is it?
I think it is,
something like that.
But he's done 2 now as well.
Right, okay.
And again, I started seeing it in films because I didn't know this was real. I thought, like you do with your ego and your mind, I'm the only one to ever experience this or go through this situation. Nobody could understand this. And then you watch The Truman Show, or then you watch that film and Shutter Island, and I was like, why is this so well documented? Why are people... Because we're talking of an extreme case now, aren't we? Where the mind can just play tricks and it can get hold of you. So overthinking on a grand scale to me is the inability to censor and control how you think and use it as that tool what we're speaking about.
Yeah, mate, you've worded it beautifully. Like,
that's it, game over.
That's it, game done. Sorry, guys, I'm not saying nothing today. Mikey's just blown me out of the water with that one. No, but for overthinking for me is exactly what you've just said. And I've got a couple of ways of like... So here's the thing. The mind doesn't know the difference, so they say, between reality and thought. And you can... everyone listening to this can vouch for this. Like, have you ever thought yourself into paranoia that a partner's cheating on you? Or have you had a dream where they've cheated on you? You've woke up almost angry at them because your brain doesn't know the difference between thought and reality. So when you get into a thought, it's like someone described it as like a stream. Thought is like a stream. You can jump in, you can look at the stream and you can kind of, oh, that's a nice, beautiful stream. It looks lovely. But if you get in that stream, you're going to get washed away with it.
Yeah.
And that's what overthinking is, in my opinion. It's like jumping into a fast-moving stream. You start thinking about something. You look at a thought, oh, I'm going to jump in. You jump into the thought, you get carried away. Next thing you know, you're halfway down wherever you've gone to, and you've been engulfed by this stream of thought, and you think someone's cheating on you, you think you're being poisoned, you think you've got diseases. And it's like unrealistic views, basically.
Could I just jump in your metaphor?
Definitely.
And say...
That's my metaphor.
That stream, maybe somewhat, like you could jump in on that stream and the beauty could be going that way with it, just going with the stream. But overthinking to me is when you've jumped in and you're trying to swim upstream and it's just splashing you in the face and you can't take any gulps of air or anything because you're going against everyone and you're like, no.
Yeah.
But whereas when you've got thought coming in, like in meditation or something, which I'm sure we'll get into,
Definitely.
is getting lost with it and letting it go, and then suddenly it starts to fade out because you've gone with the motion of it, and then you stop thinking gradually.
And then you just climb out. You climb out when you're ready.
Yeah.
I think being able to climb out is what Eckhart Tolle talks about and what meditation teaches you. The ability to climb out of that stream or overthinking, like when you think, whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah.
No, they're not cheating on me. There's no reason to think. And if they are, like, it'll come out in its own time or they'll, whatever. But it's the ability to climb out. I see it as like, imagine you've got a pit bull on a lead, right?
Yeah, I love you with metaphors.
You've got a pit. I love metaphors, man. You've got a pit bull on a lead, and there's squirrels running in all direction, and the squirrels are thoughts, and your mind is the pit bull, okay? And every time a squirrel runs past, it's like, it's over there, because it's going towards that thought and trying to latch onto that thought. Now, what you need to do is to train using meditation, using exercise, using loads of different variables or tools out there. I'm not going to tell you what to use. Find your own method. You know what I mean? Your method is your goal is to try and train that pit bull to sit there and let the squirrels run past and kind of look at them and okay, cool, acknowledge them, and maybe if there's one that you want to go for, we can have that squirrel. Have that squirrel. That's what I see kind of overthinking as, and in my own little metaphoric way.
I think that's a great way of visualizing it. And I was just going into the stream again. That's where my mind was listening to that as well as piecing a part of that. But I love the idea of swimming down that stream, because that's what I do. Say if I've had in the past something like cheating being an example, I'll fight it and I'll be like, that's probably the truth. Oh my God, what if she... And it exacerbates, builds up, because I've fought all these ideas. Every time one's clocked, I've picked it, I've used it, I've gone with it, and then I've acted on it. Whereas now, what I do when I've got this sort of feeling, not of cheating or anything, but other feelings of unease, I let it like come in, I let them go. I know that at a point they'll stop. So I'm just getting on with my day. I'm doing my washing. I'm putting away the washing and stuff like that. And suddenly I've put a podcast on. I've gone into another realm, another mode of thought. And it is important to go, not fight it and go away thoughts, go away thoughts, go away thoughts. But here we are. Here they've come in again. Slowly let them fade. I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's very important. And I what I want to do, Mikey, I want to talk about maybe what you've overthought about and what I've overthought about. So like kind of our experiences of it. So like, I'm going to give you a few of my own and maybe you can kind of add on to that. So in the past, I've overthought of illnesses. So I've overthought myself into thinking I've got illnesses such as HIV. I thought I lay in bed one night.
I did that. We're the
really,
same
mate. Maybe it's like some kind of illness we've both got. If there's any psychotherapists out there, we need you.
I think there is like genuine conditions of what we've either self-induced or got pre-existing merits of.
Yeah, and here's the beautiful thing, man. Just going off on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
If we have in the past had these diagnoses that we have not had diagnosed, we've lived with them, we've overcome them, and now we don't have them anymore. That to me is experience that we can pass on to other people. So this is why we're doing it. So like, yeah, HIV. I remember laying in bed one night reading about it, thinking, and I started shaking because I was having a panic attack because I thought I had AIDS. Scabies. I thought I had scabies. I remember I had itchy skin. It was just dry skin, basically. I have problems with
mate.
I have problems with my skin sometimes, eczema, and a lot of it's caused from either alcohol or dairy. Or I know what triggers it now, but at the time I didn't know. I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
And I said to someone, "I've got itchy skin," and he started talking about his experience with scabies, and so I'm looking into it. I'm like, "Oh, I've got it." And for months and months, I didn't go out the house because I thought I had scabies. I went to the doctors. I was telling them I had it, and they was like, "Zach, there's nothing to say that you've got it. There's no marks on your skin. It's just eczema. It's itchy skin. It's this." And I went to the doctors like 6 times to try different doctors to see if they could tell me I had it. Other overthinking. I overthought my dad was poisoning me through food. I overthought people were cheating on me to the point where I'd get myself into like a panicky, shaky state, and I was like, I couldn't control it. I overthought pretty much everything and anything. Conspiracy theories. Everyone's out to get us. And what about yourself?
I just love the honesty in which you're talking in, and who better to do a podcast on mental health than 2 males that have experienced high levels of mental health. And even when people are experiencing it on a very mild scale, I think when you look at things on a macro scale, you can really take knowledge away and work on it. So yeah, for me, I broke up with a girl, which broke my whole existence and soul when I was 20, because I was traveling with South Africa 2 years. I'd put all my energy in, and I've got attachment issues. We've spoke about that. And as soon as she chose to not be with me, that just snapped me in two. I'd always been a pretty happy-go-lucky guy in before that, and not much of an overthinker, to be honest. As soon as that happened, everything just turned on its head. I typed in on the internet like easiest ways to die, genuinely, because I wanted to end it all. I was on the very thread of going. So instead, I looked on Reddit, and this guy just put, without being daft or doing anything dramatic or stupid, try a substance which will make you see differently. So I was like, I live in Ripley, I know how to locate something like that. So I went and picked up the phone, called, and got this substance. I don't know if I should say it on here, but it starts with L. And then got 2 other letters after it.
I was there thinking,
and then, I knew the penny drop moment. So then I got this substance, I come home, and my whole existence, I'd never comprehended what happened on that night. And it was the biggest of any experience. It genuinely saved my life, because I know I'm 100% I would have killed myself. I've never been so sure on anything.
Because you were so like, I don't care what happens to me right now. You open the gate to other options like LSD. Because LSD is like, whoa, acid. You don't want to be taking that, mate. You was like, you know what? If I die, I die.
I'm ready to go now.
Yeah,
I'm ready. So what's the worst? That it's either death or this experience, and that was I'm 100% sold on that. So I went and located. And it was because for 3 months, though, I'd not just done it in a whim. I'd been overthinking. I'd been, why doesn't she want me? Why does nobody want me? Why do I go through this experience? And because I'd had this for so long, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and locate this thing. Now, that night, Meta programmed a part of my brain. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I can't really give it value on what I went through that night. It was just powerful. But because I'd had that experience, I wanted everyone to join in. I wanted everyone to feel it and experience what I had. So it was me and a friend doing it, like me and somebody else. And every night they'd go home and sit down, process, and for months not do it. But it was me and somebody else, me and somebody else, me and somebody. And I did it about 19 times in a month.
Wow, mate.
Which a lot of people would go, you what? And I just kept doing it. So the end point of this was I ended up getting tasered on that at a festival. You know, there's a story out there. There's news articles and whatnots. After that, I had a year to 2 years of severe psychosis, severe schizophrenia. Like, I couldn't go out my room. My mum wanted to section me. She was desperate to have me sectioned. Had the police over multiple times. People were like, "Are you going to be okay? What's happening?" And I had to go through this terrible, terrifying, constant journey on my own. But I did, and what it was to sort of try and break habit of this was being selfish and just going out my way, meditating the best way I could, going on this constant journey of like Eckhart Tolle, looking at books, Buddhism, complete escaping it.
I just want to add to that.
Yeah.
The main first, what's it called? The thing that starts you, basically, the main catalyst in recovery from anything, especially overthinking or anything, is understanding. And that's where you went with that, is you were saying about reading books.
Yeah.
You're looking into it, figuring it out, going into yourself.
I knew I had a problem.
Yeah.
At the point I'm sort of questioning the person I love the most on the planet, which is my grandma, thinking she's going to do me this will. I thought, I've got a problem here. She's only ever looked after me. She's brought me up in this world. How can I put her love in jeopardy?
Yeah, you need to understand what's going on in your head.
Because I didn't care about anything, I was okay with this path of destruction, and I thought, oh, whatever. But I cared about her, and I saw that started to veer off, and I was like, I need to sort myself out. I can't believe the way I've got to. You've seen me with the big beard. I just let myself go.
I enjoyed the beard, man. I think it was good.
The beard was quite
the beard
sound,
should make a comeback.
Like, I just let it, or like, I didn't care about like my appearance or anything anymore.
Your hygiene or anything.
Hygiene particularly. Yeah. I didn't go to the gym anymore. I just sat around, smoked weed. And I'll just say, like, I've been left with scars. There's a thing called HPPD and Alice in Wonderland syndrome, they call it.
Right.
Where I can go into flashbacks. I can experience a perception and reality very differently through anxiety, through struggles. And it's left me with scars.
Do you know how to deal with that now, though?
Pretty much.
How do you deal with that? How do you cope with that if it happens?
My dealing is by trying not to put myself in them situations so much. Where I found it works, like genuinely, I did a festival called the Happiness Festival in front of thousands of people. There were, I think, 2,000 people there. And on stage, in front of 2,000 people, it came on. So I'm having this distorted reality. People are bigger, they're staring at you, they're clapping, they're laughing at you, and doing all these terrifying things. And I'm like, hey guys, isn't poetry great?
How did you get over that then?
Literally, you can't in the moment. I did. I mean, I got through it.
How did you get through it then? What's your coping mechanism for it?
I'd say breathing to an extent, but to be honest, Zach, in full honesty, when it comes on, it's like you can't deter it. It's like
so overwhelming that it's just
do you know when you're really drunk, you've had all the drinks in the world, you can't get,
even though you're trying to get drunk. Sober, like I'm like, I just need to sober up.
You can't not do that. So I just had to go through the best of which I did, and I think I did wing it, but I had to just go through it. So now what it is I just don't try and put myself in them situations when I can, which is crazy for me, because my job was going into schools, doing public speaking in front of hundreds to thousands of people. And suddenly it was like, oh, I can't do this anymore, or it starts to reoccur. Yeah,
I hear that, mate. A lot of my overthinking manifested into relationships. I started overthinking that they was cheating on me, and I got so overwhelmed with that feeling that I'd portray my insecurities onto the relationship, onto the female, and I'd accuse them of, you're cheating, blah, blah, blah. And I get myself so ill with it. Like I was shaking, and I'd got it poorly. And I got to the point where I had like a fetish of imagining my partner sleeping with other people, especially my close friends. And then I'll be honest with you, I used to masturbate over those thoughts.
Okay.
That created such a ill mind in terms of how I viewed relationships, man. Like, because then I'd be like, I want you to sleep with other people. Like, it just got weird, mate. I got really weird, and I got very poorly, and I got off trusting anybody. I couldn't trust anybody, so I couldn't let any love into my life. And do you know what? It's funny because like I wanted to tell these people how we overcame it and how we deal with it to this day, because we still overthink and everything, but it isn't just this is what I need people to understand. Changing your mental health, improving your mental health, isn't one thing you can do, isn't two things you can do. And
Yeah.
even if it is one or two or three or four things, it takes longer than a day, a week, a year. It takes years. And then once you've got an understanding, you've understood what it is, you've understood how it triggers, you've understood how to make it better, you've got your tools and coping mechanisms, such as meditation, such as reading certain books, such as exercising, such as nutrition, such as all of that. Once you've got your tools, you then need to continuously, like a garden. You've got to keep trimming it. The flowers are growing, you've got to water them. You've got to pick the weeds out. You've got to continuously do this for the rest of your life. And that's what you need to do if you want to maintain a healthy way of thinking.
Brother, you've made the best images together. You really do. It's like, using that, I think it does help people to see that bigger picture. And going on garden again with you, like, yes, you have to trim it and you've got all these tools to do so. Sometimes in that garden, there can be a whirlwind just come in and take down the fence, it takes down the trees, it does everything. It's so unexpected as well. Like the last year, you'd had beautiful sun in that garden. It was a wonderful place to be.
All of a sudden there's a
storm.
storm
One day
there.
there was a massive storm and it just hit everything. You can go outside again. You can go and rebuild and keep it calm.
And the best thing is once you've built that garden or that mindset, you now have the blueprint to rebuild it if it should ever fail and fall
like
again.
you said, you've got the tools. You don't have to go out with a spoon anymore and start trying to cut the glass.
Unless it works.
Yeah.
I've got a list of how I understood and overcame, and I just kind of want to go through the list if that's okay. And maybe we can talk about some of the aspects. But basically, this is my list of how I dealt with the overthinking and the paranoia and the I probably had like a mild schizophrenia, but I didn't get it diagnosed. I didn't want to go to the doctors. So yeah, I started working out. Overthinking for me, as I've wrote here, it turned into not being big enough. Like my overthinking of other people and situations in life turning into overthinking about I'm not big enough. I want to get bigger. But that led me into learning about the body, which took me to learn about the health and the mind. And through overthinking, which is how it became a tool, I want to talk about that next. Through overthinking, I actually started to overthink: how can I become healthier? How can I become better? I want to overthink myself into greatness. I loosely use that term. So the power of now, like you said, that became a turning point for me in overthinking. I was dealing with anxiety up until this point, like with the panic attacks. Wasn't able to train anybody. I was personal training at this point. I remember reading the book and the penny dropped. I was like, oh my God, yeah. Be in the present moment, cliche, cheesy. It's so fucking true.
It is.
When you've got a bit of anxiety or you've got overthinking or you'll be in a conversation and your mind will start to go away or talk about something else. Oh, blah, blah, what's he thinking? What's he thinking? What's he doing? What are they doing? If you remain back in the present moment, take some deep breaths, using tools and techniques, and as cheesy and weird hippie as it sounds, they work because you're breathing back into the present moment. When you're in the present moment, you can listen to what's being said at the present. You're no longer overthinking in any different direction. Completely. So the power of now really works for me, and I would highly recommend it to anybody out there listening. Also, the Dalai Lama Path to Enlightenment is a brilliant book.
We've read the same books.
It's an incredible book.
Yeah.
Mate, that one changed my life as well. It led me out of lust. It led me out of overthinking. Led me out of a lot of sinful activities I was doing. I've got being in the present, which ties back to the power of now. I've got meditation, which is where I've got my dog chasing squirrels. With the dog chasing squirrels, like I explained, meditation allows you to train that dog effectively. And it's like, okay, sit and wait. And then that's what you're doing. In meditation, in my opinion, what happens for me, there's many different types apparently, is just sitting there in silence. Every time a thought comes in, you'll feel yourself start to get into that thought, like get into a book. And then what you do is you kind of go, nope, back to the center. And what I do is I like to focus on the middle point of my head here. Anytime because what I find is as I'm thinking, it feels like I'm drifting that way or I'm drifting that way or down or up. And what I do is I bring it back to the center and I'm like, okay, back to quiet. The more you do that, it's like a muscle. You train it to do that. So all of a sudden, I'm in a day-to-day activity. My partner's, where is she? What's she doing? No, back to the center. Get that dog back on that lead. Them squirrels. So meditation helped with that. Questioning my own thoughts and belief systems. So, like, I believe that they are cheating. I believe that Bill Gates is trying to kill us all. I believe this and that. Question it. Okay, why? Is it true? How do you know it's true? Questioning my own belief systems. That helped me to stop overthinking, or at least understand overthinking. Sometimes you can't stop it. Sometimes you just have to understand that it isn't what you think it is.
It goes back to that metaphor again, doesn't it? With the stream, but or the dog. You either train the dog to come and sit down, or it ties itself out, and allowing it, understanding it's happening, but allowing it sometimes helps you to go with the flow and then move out of it after that.
Yeah, not attaching
not
to it.
repel it.
I think and the last thing I want to say is how I overcome it to this day is I say it. Like recently, I haven't felt feelings for another woman in a very long time. I don't know if it's barriers. I think I know what it is. I'm not going to get into it on this podcast. Recently, I've allowed a female, and I've allowed love back into my life again, and I feel like it's the right time, but at the same time, I've got a lot of old overthinking coming back in. So the other night, I had some overthinking going on, and I messaged her, and I told her, and I says, look, I'm going to be honest, I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying that there's some stuff that's come up from the past, and I explained it. Because I understood it, I was more able to effectively get that across to her. And it actually makes us stronger every time we do.
Yeah.
And so what I'm trying to say, guys, is if you're overthinking in a relationship, or maybe it can work in other aspects of life, communicate that effectively. Don't go, are you cheating on me, you filthy fucker? Go, right, I've got this feeling. I think it's me. I just want to get it out there so that we can move forward and get past this. Like, and just once you do, and they give you that clarification of, no, you're overthinking, it's okay. And you'll be able to tell. Because if they're lying, they'll go, no. You just be able to tell. You know this shit. And it just gives you that, and then you become stronger because you can now connect and effectively communicate with each other.
Feel honest.
Yeah. So that's how I understood and overcame it, and I just wanted to list that out.
I think the important thing is, whatever you're going through at all, knowing that you're not the only one to ever experience this feeling. You're not the only one to go through this problem, whatever it is. If it's mild overthinking, if it is psychosis, schizophrenia, any of these things, they've often got a label. They've often got something behind it, but with labels, you can see it in a bad or a good way. But for me, it was good because I typed it up. I tried to explain all the things I'm going through, and suddenly there was a massive article on it and loads of other things and people in Reddit conversating about it, and there was a community of people together going, oh my God, I thought this too. I've been through that as well. I've had that feeling. So there's an array of ways of tackling it as well, what you've just been through. And understand that you will find your way that suits you best. And that's what I want people to go away with most is here's a load of tools, here's what we see overthinking as, but finding your own way through it all. And I love what you said about the garden. The garden's my favourite metaphor to date is, you know, if something dramatic happens, if there's a death in your life, if somebody chooses to leave you, it's going to look shit in your garden for a little bit. But there's always a rebuilding process. And it is nicer to look outside your window at a nice garden rather than one that you've just let go to shit. Yeah,
definitely. The last I want to touch on, Mikey, is we've gone over how overthinking can kind of ruin people's lives.
Yeah.
I also think for myself, and I think because we're very similar in terms of how we think, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think? And I think it can be used as a tool, and I think it is one of the main tools that I've used for my successes in life. Like, because I have the ability to overthink, or to think, shall we say?
Yeah.
I can channel that energy into thinking about how can I improve my life? How can I go down a route of making more financial freedom? How can I improve my relationships? What is it about me that people aren't liking at the minute, and why don't people want to spend time with me? Okay, like how can we fix that and use that overthinking in a positive way? Like I do believe if you're an overthinker, you have a power, you have a gift.
Yeah, I like that.
You do have a superpower, but you've just got to, you know, on X-Men. I always say this, When a child on X-Men realizes they've got a superpower, usually it's quite destructive. Jean Grey, for instance, Wolverine, they destroy, I'm scared and I'm destroyed. Charles Xavier comes along and he says, right, no, don't worry, you're fine. All you need to do is learn how to channel this power, this energy. Once you learn how to channel your power, your energy, once you've figured out what your power is, overthinking, everyone's got their own superpower, in my opinion, I believe. Some people are good with math, some people are good with poetry, words, blah, blah, blah. Some people have, people who are autistic, is it? And Asperger's. They have like a single focus, and then they can dive into that and they can remember everything about it. Stamps, trains.
Like dyslexia, you've got a more creative brain and flipping it on its head, not seeing it as a negative, but
You
finding a
learning
way
to use it, just like X-Men.
Yeah,
I think X-Men was based on people with mental health and autism and stuff like that.
I really like what you've said then. That gave me a bit of an epiphany moment as well, using that. I've left a bit of a legacy behind, at least, like for Ella now, or if we have any more kids and her grandkids. I'm really proud of the music I've created. I'm really proud of the YouTube videos I put on, the podcasts I've done. And there's an archive of things to look back at for people that want to remember me in any way. And that come about because I've got this mindset of, I should be creating content. I've been instilled with it by my mum, who's an overthinker and needs to build an empire. So we've built things up because we've got this in our mind that we should be moving. I can't sit still. I've got to be doing. And that's created so many videos, so much content to go back through on. And that feels to me like why I did that was what some people would say predisposition or hindrance. Is overthinking helped me in them ways.
Yeah, wicked.
Made me move.
Beautiful, man. So hopefully, guys, again, I'm sure there's golden nuggets in there for even me and you to watch back and take out.
I will be, mate. Yeah.
Definitely. That was a beautiful podcast. And I'm going to finish with a quote, if you don't mind.
Oh, yes.
Hey, he's got a quote. Overthinking is simply the creation of problems that aren't there.
Oh, is that
beautiful, man?
That's one of them. Rewind.
Can I get a rewind?
Fire in the booth.
Lovely, guys. Thank you for watching and listening as always. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share. It helps with the algorithms, helps with YouTube, helps us to reach more people, and it fills our ego quota for the day. So have a great day, guys, and that's out from me.
Be good, guys. One love.